That's perfect. All right, so we're about to start. We're starting right now. So today we're going to be covering, are we together? Today we're going to be covering introduction to Excel, overview of Excel, ribbons, working with cell, formatting text, custom lists, and rows and columns, as far as we can go today. All right. So we're going straight to it. If you have Excel on your system, open it and let that be wide open as mine. But before that, we'll have a brief discussion. When we look at, most of you are here for basics of data analytics, right? And we're doing that with Excel. And Excel is widely used tool that even though they've created so many newer tools, they cannot scrap Excel out because it has been in the game for a long time and is able to do well. I know some of you might be familiar with Power BI. Power BI was made by Microsoft to actually take over Excel, but it couldn't, right? So they just made sure that it's just focused more on visualization and big data, being able to do better visualization with large data sets, with larger data sets, all right? How many rows are there in Excel? You can tell me how many rows there are in Excel. We have in Excel. Hello? Those online, you can type it in the chat. How many rows are there in Excel? I had endless rows, unlimited rows. Okay. Infinitely. Okay. How many rows are there here in class? Physical. People here physically, how many rows? As much as you want. I like this. All right, so everybody follow me. Just click on the first cell, right? This one. Are we together? Then, sorry, let me hide this. Now click on the first cell. Now hit Control and the down arrow button. Hold on to Control and click on down arrow. What's the number you see there? Huh? What's the number you see there? Control and then the down arrow button. 100 and what? No. 1,048,576 rows. Are we together? Okay, good. I'm sure a lot of people don't know this particular thing. Exactly. So it's morning. So, and I'm sure a lot of people don't know this, but this is it. This is the final point. If you scroll down, what do you see? Nothing else. See? Nothing else. So, same way you've actually just learned how to use a particular shortcut, which is how to get to end of particular on a sheet. If you just hit Control and the up arrow, you get back to the top. All right. The same way, how do you know the last column? Control and the right arrow, and it talks about what XFD. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good, good, good. I see people typing in. All right, good. Okay. Now let's get back. So some of us have seen this, the end of the Excel sheet for the first time. Some of us are familiar, some are not. So at least we've gotten that today. Now, when we talk about analysis, right? In a simplified version, what are we doing? We're first gathering data, all right? So when you gather the data, how do you gather the data? All right? So what does that mean? There's a step before that, which is what? The questions you need to ask to get your data, to gather it, all right? For example, if you are to analyze the number of HIV patients, mothers, HIV positive mothers, right, who are under the treatment and still end up giving birth to an HIV positive child, with the rate of the ones that do not give birth to HIV positive children, right? What is the first thing that comes to your mind? You are told to do an analysis in this regards. You've not been told where to go. You've not been told any other thing. Give us this analysis. Let us know if a certain drug is working or what's not working. Are we together? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to sit back and say, okay, where do I get this data from? So where do you get it from? Huh? What part of the hospital? Other people now. And we have women here now. It should be a faster answer. Is a man. I don't want a man to answer again. We want to check women who are HIV positive and under treatment, the percentage of them that end up giving birth to children that are HIV positive and the ones that don't. Do you understand? Immediately after, like when they found out the HIV positive, they were under treatment to prevent their offsprings from coming with that same disease. So, what do? You have been told to do this. What do? You go to a hospital. That's been established, right? That's where you're going to gather your data from. What are you going to? Oh, sorry, what part of the hospital? You said? Okay. Let me not abandon these people online. I'm seeing laboratory. Okay. Postnatal part of the hospital. Fantastic. All right. Yeah, so postnatal part of the hospital. I like this. Laboratory is good. You can get it from the records department. All right. What other options? You said maternity. Uh, I should not worry. Fantastic. Where else, please? Where? Because the next thing too is it's not there's no compulsion to which you have to get it from one place. Statistics department. All right, no problem. No problem. So now let's continue. So the first thing is that we want to gather data, right? But before we gather the data, we have to determine where we're gathering data from. Okay, you establish that. So you might have maybe 3 to 4 sources or more because what you want to combine it and make sure that you are doing a thorough analysis. Are we together? Depending on if you were given a range or an area scope. So, for example, you were told to just do this analysis in Lagos or just in Abuja. All right. If you're doing just in Abuja, then you now have to look at okay, where is Abuja covering? Is it going to stop at Maitama? Do you understand? So you now know that the number of hospitals you are going to gather your data from. Are you going as far as Guadalajara? All right, Kubwa, and all these different places. And then you're going to, that's the first thing you determine where. All right. Now, the next thing is what questions do you need to ask to get the data you need to do the analysis? Do you understand? What questions do you need to ask? That's the next phase. Now you know where you're going to. The next thing is what are the questions you're asking. So when I say, so I know a lot of us have filled Google Forms, right? All these Google Forms that they say just quickly fill this and all of that. That is being sent into a Google sheet. which they analyze later on. Do you understand? So depending on the questions they've chosen to ask you, if all those questions become columns in the Google Sheets, and they are not able to analyze, but in-house has to give them the answer they can analyze at the end of the day. All right. So there will be, you have to look at unnecessary questions. You don't need that. Do you understand? Do you understand? You're employing somebody and you're asking him how many people in your family. What are you using that information for? Do you get? There are unnecessary data that exist. And that's just going to just cost you using so much more space for the company or for yourself, whichever one you're doing. So the question you ask has to relate to the problem you want to solve. So that's why a lot of times when you talk about analysis, right, you are able to, as an analyst, you're able to see the full picture from beginning to end. Every phase is intertwined. Okay? The quality of your analysis is dependent on the quality of your data. The accuracy of your analysis is dependent rather on what? The accuracy of your. So are we together? Are we together? That's some people looking like the situation of this country. Are we together? We should smile now. All right, so that's for what. Okay, good. I'm getting response online. So that's for what, gathering the data. What do we now do next? All right. The next thing now is what we clean the data. All right. Now, most times when you are the one that gathered the data, you may not do too much in cleaning. All right, because you're probably as careful as possible to get the exact thing you want. But when you go and they just give you data that has been gathered, you have to clean it up. Okay? Cleaning up entails things like you're making sure that each data type, there's a certain data type, null values, you're avoiding null values. You're avoiding null rows, right? A row that just has no, right? You don't need that. Excuse me. That's going to mess up your analysis. So you delete things like that. Okay? But let's be careful, because the thing that people don't get is, because I've told the students no values and they just deleted a row, not checking that you might have like, let's say, for example, you have 6 columns rather. Okay? And then a particular person's data has 2 columns null. That does not count as deleting that person. I don't know if you're together. That doesn't count as you deleting that person, because the person's data, there's still information there, right? It's just that there are 2 informations missing. Okay? Now you have to now check, as an analyst, you check, are you, the information that is missing, is this something you can provide based on a pattern? Do you get? Based on a pattern. Let's assume what was missing is, let's assume there's a particular color. Okay? And then it's established that people that were given color blue come from a certain area. All right? And then the person that had a null value in color was from that area. And you've checked through your data that everybody from that particular area had this color. That is what? A pattern. Okay? And with that pattern, you fill in that space that was null with what? Blue. Are we together? So these are things you check. So almost like, that's why when you want to employ an analyst, the process is rigorous, because when you come in, you are almost lord and all of what you do. You understand? Nobody's going to sit down with you and be like, okay, did you clean it well? Did you do this well? Your stakeholders, your boss simply wants to see the final analysis. All right? If you messed up on the way, that is you. And that might show when they want to use your analysis. When it's not accurate, when it's not giving the results, then they now come back to look at, what did you do? What did you miss? Are we together? So your accuracy is very important. How you gather, very important. Your cleaning, you make sure that in every decision you make, you are absolutely certain about the fact that, yes, this is what I'm very convinced that this is what's supposed to be here. If not, some things should just be left empty. All right. One of the simplest examples you have is when you go to university and your original YX certificate is not ready in year one, you have a privilege of starting, right? So now that is them just saying it, but in reality, your database under you as a student, your WAEC result area is null. Do you understand? The original WAEC result area is null. So it's empty, but that's temporary. All right. It would be an error if it is empty and you're in 400 level. Are we together? It would be an error if it's there and you're in 500 level. It's acceptable in what? Your year one. By the end of your year one, it should be checked again. It shouldn't still be there as empty. All right. And in a working system, whoever has access to the data will begin to look and begin to call all students that have null in that area. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So you can't now say no students will exist because there's null. Okay? But when you check null, 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 all through the columns, that's a complete error. All right? Maybe you just have a sequence number and every other thing is null. Just delete that row. But be absolutely sure of what you are deleting so that you are not deleting concrete information simply because you had this single null value. I hope we're together. All right. So now you clean your data, make sure that everything is perfect to give you exactly what you need when you're analyzing. All right. And then now we start with what? The breakdown of analyzing your data set that is clean. Okay. Now this is another part of what? Questions. All right. You have a list of what questions. Remember, he said, what questions do you want your data to answer? Right? Is what you had and you used to do what? To gather the data. To create the questions for the data. To gather. Good. Now you bring those questions out. I'm like, okay, now let's what? Question the data. Analysis is simply what? Questioning the data and it giving you answers. Do you understand? The analysis process itself is simply what? You questioning the data and it's what doing what? Giving you answers. Now it's techniques, your understanding of that type of data that now helps you, that now shows how much of a professional you are in different areas. All right. I talked about medical data here, right? Being an analyst does not automatically mean you'll be able to do medical analysis properly. Are we together? There's also a niche in the game. If you don't business, a lot of people are business analysts by default, in the sense that it's always more finance, 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 profit, revenue. Those are the practical data you get to see everywhere. Okay, are we together? So, but when you want to be versatile, all right, like I did analysis of medical data, which is the HIV that I mentioned. You have to first sit down with the person, understand everything that entailed in your analysis to give you proper results. Okay, that means if it is in engineering, you're sitting down with a professional engineer, you're understanding the terminologies needed. It's not like you want to understand the whole of engineering. You're understanding the terminologies needed for your analysis. Okay, you've, like I said, you've written your questions, right? You sit down with them and say, okay, does this make sense? Will this give me what I want? What are the components for this certain thing to be able to determine this? Okay, when to say a car is due for servicing, how do you determine that? Do you just say every car should be serviced every twice a month or twice in a year? Do you understand? Is there specification on the type of car, the brand? All right. Then an SUV, how long should it take? When you hear this sound, what are the possibilities? Like troubleshooting. Are we together? When you hear this sound, what are the possibilities? Okay, they said tell you when you hear this particular sound, here are the possibilities. Okay. Now, if you are supposed to do an analysis to determine what to do at certain points, you now begin to put together the different components to make that particular thing be achieved. I hope you're not lost. Are you guys lost? Wow. Are you all lost? Okay, good. So, but you understand what I've said so far? These are the processes you have to take in your analysis. This is how simple it is, but now complex when you begin to do the real analysis. But just have that in mind. You're questioning to gather. Sometimes you may not. So this full process, you may not have to do, you may be putting a part of the process. All right. Someone might have gathered and cleaned. You have to analyze. All right. You might have to do the beginning to the end. Are we together? So it depends on, that's why you see here analysis team, data team. It's usually a team thing. All right. Each person has what they need to do. Okay. Except when the company is overwhelmed with a lot of work where each person has to handle beginning to end. And so they do their findings, gather their data, and begin to click. Now, when you begin to question the data, now I'm saying question, right? But in the real sense, what you are doing is, for example, you are using pivot table to begin to see your data in a different light, right? And you are now looking at it and then it's answering certain questions for you. Answering those questions now what opens your mind to the interpretation. Are we together? So when we're asking the questions, it doesn't necessarily mean that all the questions you ask will appear in your final report. Are we together? But whenever as you are questioning it, you begin to see more about the data. Okay? Like you have the data of, like we talked about the HIV patient, right? The women. When you begin to question, you want to find out, okay, how many of these women are in certain areas? Okay? That's one of the questions. When you see the results, you probably now see, wow, 2, 3 areas have large number of women with HIV. Do you get what I'm trying to say? From there, you might lose focus on the rest and do more questioning on those 2 areas to find out more. This is analysis process. Are we together? So that's what you just keep doing. You keep questioning. When you now see you get better insight, then you now what? Begin to develop. One, for example, in Excel, you begin to develop your dashboard, right? Because now you've understood the full data and it has given you the insight. Then you begin to develop and bring out the key insights from it. It's not everything in your findings that you want to bring out. You want to showcase the key ones that will, because the person the stakeholder, your manager does not have time to be looking at the details. He doesn't care how you got there, except he wants to be detailed and do some other things or querying or whatever it is. But generally, he wants to see results. So you're just coming to say, based on your analysis, we found out that first the top 3 areas, regions rather, that have the highest number of HIV patients are this. You analyze over 12 regions, right? But this is the focus based on whatever they told you to do. You said these are the top 3, all right? And then you found out that based on here, half of them were raped. And that's what caused this. And the rapes were under what? Robberies. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So with this analysis, what have you linked up? That insecurity, all right? Lack of poor security in these areas, in these regions, has led to what? High rate of robberies, which has led to rape. And which has what led to these people passing on what? HIV round. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So that's you analyzing what? Data. See, all of this insight was gotten from you just getting certain informations from different families or different individuals from the right source. Then you make this analysis. So someone will pick out your final results, right? And then this is what you take to the federal government, the states, on their security matters. This is what you use to discuss. Are we together? This is what you now use to discuss the matter. Don't worry, when you're able to now tell them, oh, based on this, we research, we covered this region. All right. And we found out that these ones were lacking. And this is what caused this. You are done. That's your analysis. All right. We see it online, it's looking so complex, but the truth is this is everything. What now makes certain people stand out from others are different things. Like one, if you are able to do very good analysis under different niche, several niche, that is one advantage. All right. So if you have experience where you've analyzed medical data, you've done analysis under business, right? You've possibly done for an oil and gas company. All these components add to what makes you more experienced and a professional than other people. Another part too is the complexity of your, or let's say complexity, yeah, the complexity of your analysis, the designs. You're able to do advanced statistical analysis, right? Or your design. I know if you go on YouTube, you see certain designs that people have done where their dashboard looks so amazing, looks so mechanical. All right, that's some of the professional things, and these things are also things where people just develop like a template, and you just put these things in. Some of us may not have eye or the time for design. We may just have time and eye for what efficiency. Are we together? And that design is simply what will make this other person stand out from this other person. Are we together? I've stood out at a workplace. The one, sir. It's just to once the no, I'm not at any file. It's just the class itself. All right, no problem. All right, sorry about that. So, what was I? What was I? Okay. Okay, thank you. So I started at a workplace, funny enough, simply because of report format at a point. What gave me the opportunity to be in the CEO's office and have his attention was simply there was a format of my report. It doesn't mean the skill of the report is not part of it too, but there was another person too with a good skill. All right. That person was the one that was there at that moment. And I was now added to the team. Right. Then eventually I now realized that I was called up to help edit this person's work. Do you understand? And gradually, this opened more opportunities for me. But what brought me into that door, minus my general skill of being able to do, like, what I'm trying to say is, you may be able to do the same thing as another person. You can all come live here as analysts, right? But you see, that's just one tiny thing is what stands you out from the other person, because it just shows the people in authority that you understand. This is wow. This is what it looks like. Like my boss would say, what he said is, I feel this is what it should look like. He hadn't thought about it in that way until that format came to his table. He was pleased with the previous format, all right? But when my format now came to the table, it just felt like, wow, this is how it should be look. It should look. Yeah. Now start doing things like this. Do you get? So the same way, do not just focus on being good analyst is very good. But sometimes if your finishing isn't able to show the beauty of what you've done, you may lose the audience or the people you are talking to. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. All right. Because what is dashboards? What are dashboards? Sorry. Dashboards are simply you have a certain area in your Excel sheet, right? You probably there are different ways you want to do it. Either you get a rectangle, right, and color it, expand it, and then begin to put your charts, and then what their captions, your final analysis, what you got from it, your insight rather, what I wanted to get, your insight underneath. That's simply it. You now arranging several charts and getting to the final insight that based on everything you've shown, right? This is the decision I believe you should make from here. Okay. What stands this person from this person now is how do you arrange your charts? What's your color combination? Right? Everything I teach my students is one simple thing. One basic color combination you need to understand is bright on dark, dark on bright. What do I mean? Darker colors, your dark color is your background, and the lighter color should be what? Your write-up on the dark background. Are we together? If your background is light, then what should come on it should be what? A darker. Do you understand? So that's one simple concept in terms of just simple. But then you begin to, one of the ways you do that is also begin to do your dashboard designs based on some things online. So you go on YouTube, just follow somebody on how he finalized and just made something a bit beautiful. Do you get? And you can just be using that same format all through work and just probably change the colors at some point. But the format was something you liked. Are we good? Are we fine? Do we understand so far? All right. So, but basically, this class is to cover the basics of Excel. We're going to go through quite a few things in terms of the the tabs, and just some basic functions. Unfortunately, for the physical class, there is currently no lights, and you need to be able to see what I'm doing on my screen. It's coming now. Okay. So those online, give us a few minutes, but let me see if there are any questions. There are none yet. All right. While we wait for the lights to come up, do you have any questions so far? None? You have. It's coming out. Bring it out. You want to swallow it back. Bring it out. What's the question? Those online, you can type in the questions. I'll answer what we can answer right now. And then if it's something we answer in the class while you learn later, I'll just tell you, you'll get to hear it later. Yes, I'm listening. What's the question? How do you handle which one? I, I don't get the question yet. What's the question? Okay, so for those online, the question is, if I want to, as a novice, if I want to be a professional in analysis, Abi, what do I need to do? Oh, okay. So, in which class? No, I'm not answering this class. I'm answering analysis generally. All right. So if you're looking into analytics, right? Um, the first thing is the tools. What are the most popular tools, right? On the major basic side, you have what? Excel, Power BI, or Tableau for visualization, right? And then you have SQL. All right. Now this is like the basic side. Now SQL, you have different SQL. What? You have MySQL, you have Oracle, you understand? There's so many ones. You have Postgre, you have blah blah blah. Right? The popular ones are MySQL, MS SQL, that's Microsoft SQL. You have Oracle, you have Oracle, you have I think Postgre has come up. So these are like the major top guys. There are so many more, but these are major guys you see. Most firms, you are either Oracle or MS SQL or MySQL. MySQL has actually jumped up. So you have MySQL and you have yeah, Postgre. Postgre is what a lot of trainers use. The reason being that Postgre is straightforward for installation. All right. So it's the basics is to get these tools down. Excel, get to advanced Excel. From basic, do basic so that you understand a lot of things, then move to advanced Excel. Right? That's when you do your pivot and your dashboards and all of that. Right? When you're done with that, you can now move to Power BI that focuses a lot more on modeling and visualization. And also the complexity of the way it handles cleaning of data for me is a lot nicer than Excel because it's actually an upgrade of Excel. Are we together? Then the visualization is a lot easier in Power BI or Tableau. Now, then you go to SQL. SQL is storage, right? Depending on what you are doing, if you're just doing analysis for SQL, then you're just talking about querying the database and not existing data. But if you want to know a lot more, then you learn how to create the database, how to insert values into the database, then now how to query and get results out of the database. This is what I'll give anybody to start with at the beginning. Right now, statistical analysis, right, is usually required based on a niche. Some of those statistical functions, what we advise some people to do is if you don't have too much in your head, go and study which is needed and for what. You understand? You have the N test, T test, you understand those things. So you know where they come in. The number of variables needed to be used for this particular test, hypothesis test. Now, when you know that, all you are doing is you're using inbuilt functions in these applications to do that. So you may never remember the full formula for that, but with the shortcuts and the formulas in Excel, Power BI, and all of these other systems, you're able to do that. Do you get? So it's a bonus if you are working in a firm where they need that statistics. But if you don't really, there's no problem. Just find out, understand hypothesis testing, and then a few things, and then you're good to go. I hope that answers your question. All right, so I have a question online before this slide comes up. Okay, I have one. Okay, so it said, is there anything going on the screen because I can only see the blank Excel sheet? There's nothing going on the screen. We're still discussing. So we've not done anything yet, and I'm waiting for the light to pop up for us to start practical. I'm coming. Then the next question is, as a pharmacist, are there extra features or concepts I need to learn as I go on this journey of data analysis? I have a bit of Excel knowledge, but I need more enlightenment on the aspects I need to major on as a pharmacist. I hope you can hear me now. So as a pharmacist, I think I will speak for every single profession. You coming from that line is fine. Are we together? You coming from a particular line is all you need for the experience in that particular line. Okay? What analysis is now going to do is just teaching you how to analyze the data. Now, what you coming from a particular niche or area is going to help to do is you understand the data set better. That's basically what it is. So if the pharmacist is listening to me, you being a pharmacist, when you see a pharmaceutical data set, you understand the drugs, you understand some of the terminologies they use on that sheet. So you will be able to, you know what you need to do, you know where this comes in better than a general analyst. A general analyst will need to take time and study a lot of things to better understand what he's doing, because it's almost like chemistry experiments, knowing where to mix this and this and this. Are we together? So you just knowing that they need to mix is not enough. Where and when, because you are looking at components. So if a data set is telling you is talking about instead of calling the name of the drug in particular, is telling you the components of the drugs, or let's say you're now looking at what they mix together to produce a particular drug. Only a pharmacist knows this should take 20 seconds before this, and this should now be added a second later. Details like that, a general individual will not have. And that's one of the advantages of coming from a particular niche. You will get materials for this class at the end. I think I've mentioned the tool an analyst needs. Excel, majorly what you need to look at is Excel, Power BI or Tableau, SQL, and Python. Python and R. Let me add that. That's what you need. But that depends on the level at which you want to put. But for basics, you are fine with Excel, Power BI, and SQL. But this class is strictly Excel, and this is actually basics of Excel. So I really need this screen up. Give me a second, please, everyone. Let me find out what is up with the lights. Okay, so I think we'll be up now. Akin Kumi. Yes, you're a valid member, but do your best to be a part of the class if you can. So if you're not available, there will be recordings, and yeah, you should be able to catch up with that at the end of the day. All right, so we're back. Someone asked for a simple definition of analysis, and let me type in what I said. Yeah. And this light, so please be in front of someone that has a system. You have yours, no? Sir? Excel. What happened? The crack activation. What system is that? Okay. You don't have a crack. Can I send you the crack? I'll be 2.5 million. And you sat down. um, just sit with them. Maybe at some point I'll bring my. I think I have a crack on my phone. All right, we're good to go. Like I said today, we're simply going through certain things so that there's a system in front of you. He will bring it. Okay, okay. Who else? Who else? Hmm? No, no, it didn't. I removed the because of obstruction. So I hide it. All right, so everybody has a system in front of them. Fine. Now let's move. So the first thing we're just going to look at are this. What is this? These areas here. So one of the first things you need to know is where to go to look for what. All right, that's simply what we're going to do first. Where to go to look for what. Then we're going to understand the sheets. We're going to look at copy paste and certain things. We're going to. I think we'll probably be able to end with something like okay, this is almost 10. Custom list and the rest. All right. Now, up here you see your home tab, right? Right. Sorry. Let me say this part. I need you online. Don't listen to this one, no. Please, people here. I need you to give me to answer. That is what will make sure that we move forward. All right. And for the first and last time, whatever issues we are going through, I'm not the reason. People should stop looking at me like I'm the reason for some people's problems. Can we smile and let's move forward with this class? All right. Now, as we go, please just make sure you flow with me. Let me see. Okay. So, all right, fine. So the home tab. So we're starting with. Good afternoon. No? Right. So the home tab is what we're starting with. That's where you see what your copy paste. But in summary, I simply tell people the home tab is where you're able to what edit text. All right. everything you have to do with editing your text. If you wrote someone's name here, right? If you needed to do anything with it, it's all here, right? You can wrap, the text. Who can tell me what wrap text means? Quickly. I know you guys know this thing. Wrap text, what does it mean? Some people know it, but they're asking themselves, can they define it? Can they explain it well? What's wrap text? That's this function here. What does it do? Just explain its function. I'm not leading people online. Maybe someone is. Yes, nobody. But give me a minute. Akachukwu Faith asked a question that I think I answered partially when I was explaining certain things. In case where crucial data were not provided, how do you make up for that? Do you just leave it blank? This is in a case where the data was collected for you. Good. So there are different answers to this. It depends on so many things. Like I said, the first thing is if the crucial data, if there's a pattern to it, look for that pattern. If there is, then obviously you can fill it in. Do you understand? If there's like a zip code, is a crucial data. Now that's something you can search yourself. If the person provided all the other information to get that. So the person told you local government and every other thing. Through that, by yourself, you can do what? Search the zip code. So that means you can fill in that data. Are we together? That's one. Another one is what pattern, like I said. Just check if people that have this, then you just look at it and then you fill that in. That's two. The third one is it's not compulsory to fill it. All right. The next thing you need to ask yourself is for your analysis. The question is, in case there's crucial data where crucial data is needed is not provided, how do you make up for that? That's the question. So now there are cases where you need to leave it blank. All right. It might just be that particular information about the person. And in fact, sometimes that blank is needed for your analysis. It's not all the time you always have data in certain places. Null also has a meaning in certain points. You understand? If you see that there's a pattern of null, you might just fill that place with a certain value. So that you know that every null cell, you filled it with this particular value. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So, for example, now you told someone, have they taken this injection? All right. Obviously, that your data set that you collected, those who haven't taken that injection will have zero, will not say anything there. Okay. So because of your analysis, you know that that's the information that's needed there. You can now say, okay, all null values in this particular column, change it to no injection. So when you're analyzing, you know that they fall under people who never took that injection. That's what it is. So sometimes blank is proper, but just make sure that you are very certain that it's as clean as is needed. And then sometimes you don't need that person at all, depending on the analysis. I don't know if you understand. Depending on the analysis, you don't need the person at all. So I just felt like that was a good question. And okay, so someone has explained wrap text is used to compress what? Or or whatever text in order to see everything. Do you understand that? So basically, if you came here to do what? Type in a bunch of words. Is there Nkechi in this class? I'm gonna be hailing the wrong students. All right, so right now there's no wrap text. So what happens? It's looking like it has extended to the next cell. Are we together? But it hasn't. But with wrap text, the wrap text, it does what? Make sure that whatever size of the cell is it's going to make sure that it fills it in. Rather than moving to the side, it just goes downwards. Are we together? That was quite simple. All right. Now, so here, like I said, the home tab is where you see what things you use to edit the text. You have the size, you have the fonts, font type, you have um, you can you have the alignment, so you can align it to the left, right, center, top, middle, bottom. All of that is here. But all of the things here majorly are what? To edit the text. Conditional formatting is here as well. You can insert new columns, delete new rows. You can insert new rows rather, delete rows, insert columns, delete columns. All of that is here. Then insert is where you go in to do what? Get new things and add to the system. So here is where you see your charts. All right, here is where you can add images. Here's where you can create table formats. For some people, this table confuses them because they are wondering, is this not already a table? All right, and they will find out, you guys will find out eventually for those who are still in that confusion. Then from here is when you can also create your pivot table. All right, and all of that is what under the insert. So there are people who, this is a common mistake. Most people that are experienced here may not understand this mistake, but I've been in a situation where someone was trying to do something and it took him 30 to 1 hour to find the exact thing he was looking for. Do you understand? It's a common mistake. It's really something that all of us can do. But the thing is not, it comes from you not understanding where what is. Are we together? Where what is. So when you know that under insert, you have things all about tables, things all about illustrations, that's inserting images, art, and the rest. Add-ins, you have charts, sparklines, filters, links, text, and symbols. Okay? All of that is under what? All of that is under what? Anyway, it's under what? The back. Insert. As people online have told me, insert. The back. I have a problem with back. The people at the back are the shortest people in my class. So I cannot even see people. What's going on? Please, guys, sit up and let's move. So, home, what do we have? Clipboard, fonts, alignment, numbers. These numbers is what you do determine the data type of a column or a cell. Are we together? This number area is where you determine the data type of a column or a cell. All right, then styles, you have what? Conditional formatting, format as table, cell styles. Then you have cells where you can insert, delete format. Then you have editing. That's where you talk about fill, auto sum, like some functions you can just automatically do when you click on it. Clear, sort and filter, find and select. Okay. Then we go to page layout. That deals with what? Pagination, how it looks, the orientation of the page, the margins, and all of that. Then if you were doing your dashboards where you have different shapes, okay, and things will be on that shape, and there might be another shape on it, is where you come to do arrangements. Disarrange. You now have what? Bring forwards, send backwards. That is whatever image, not image. Let's say you have rectangle, right? All right, so let's start here. Now, just to give you the example we're talking about, right? Because I'm sure so many people, rarely do you get to the point where you use bring forward and whatever, right? So let me show you that. So here it automatically shows on this side, on that format, when you selected the shape, right? But you can also do that on that page layout, okay? But that simply means now, for example, now the other shape is behind this one, but one that's just above this, okay? So when we click on this guy, we simply say what? Send what? So you can see that there are two of them. There's what? Backwards, send backwards, and there's send to back. Which one should we use here? Send backwards, raise your hand. The only two confident people in this class. Send to back, raise your hand. Wow. You don't understand what? You don't understand what? Just wait. You have not started the practical. I'm simply showing you ribbons. Do you understand? And then I'm touching certain parts that I know that you possibly don't know have been used. Good, that's all. Not started practical. We'll do that. So what I was saying is this. Okay, let's actually, based on what she said, I actually like it. That's not a problem. All right, so let's create these shapes, everybody. Let's do that together. All right, so everybody go to insert. Are we together? Insert. Under insert, under illustration, you see shapes here. Do we see shapes? Good. So rectangle. Just look for rectangle anywhere you find it. Whichever one you like, just use. When you get there, you see a plus sign on your cursor will change. Then just click and drag. It gives you a shape. Are we together? Let's do that. Are we here? If you've gotten to this point, wave to the Lord. Okay, 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 okay. Oh, forgotten. Yeah? The other systems, have you gotten here? Rectangle, are we there? You are rectangle now? Good. So give it a color. Let it possibly be the darkest color. So to give it a color, if you understand, you should have format here automatically selected, right? You have format selected. If you click on the shape, format should appear here. And then with that, you can go to shape fill. And let's just give it a dark color or black, whichever one you want, but something dark. Now, the same place you got the rectangle, go and get another shape. Get the oval and do the same thing. Drag, but let it be a bit small. Then let me do white. Have we done this? Sorry, those online. I don't want to leave you. Are we together? Okay, 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 okay. All right, that's fine. All right, they're together. All right, so have we done this? Have we done this? Everyone? Good. So now can we all duplicate this circle, this oval shape? Duplicate. That's what's duplicate shortcut? Oh, someone said something. Control D. Control D. So click on the shape and then click Control D. Good. And now expand that to be bigger than the other circle or oval shape and put it above it. Then give it a different color as well. Have we done this? Have we done this? All right, good. So right now, to show us how we use the forward and backwards for those who have never used it. Simply want to see how this goes behind that original circle, right? So that's now at the center of this. Are we together? So you click on this one, and then let me take this guy off so that I don't. Hide. All right. So we do what? We're not moving it forward, we're moving it backwards, right? And I said, let's vote. I said, let's vote between what? Are you all here, though? Send backwards. Are we there? So click on that drop down. You see send backwards or send to back. Let's now see the difference. I want us to first click on send to back. Have we all done that? Click on send to back. When you click on send to back, what do you see? Is what? Behind the rectangle. So send to back simply means let that be the base. So send backwards is what? Send a step back. Are we together? Yeah, are we together? So if I bring it forward, send to front, it comes back to the very front. And then I just say send backwards. Send backwards is what we wanted to use. Do you understand? Where's the note coming from?
Yes.
All right, people online said yes. People physical said no. Do you understand? All right, so basically, guys, are we together? So the point here is the forward and backwards, right? Backward is what? A step back. A step. Send to back means let that be the last shape. Are we together? Now the same thing with forward. Send forward is just a step forward. Send to front means bring it to the extreme front and let that be the first thing you see. All right. We're not going to stay too long here because we're just going through the difference. So page layout, that's what you do there. Formulas is where you can, if you don't have formulas in your head or you want to be more certain about certain things, you have financial formulas here. You can come and look through them to find out whatever you're looking for. Logical formulas are here as well. You have text formulas, date and time formulas, lookup and reference formulas, and all of that. You have all of that here under what formulas. It's very self-explanatory. Then you have data. Data here deals with relationship, how you create a model relationship, importing data from an existing database, all right, creating a connection where you're able to now extract directly from the database and do whatever you want to do with the data on Excel. You can create that connection. If you don't want to download it separately, then CSV and all of those things. So that's here. Then you have you have a general review, all right, where you can review certain things. You can also do your protect sheets, that's lock your sheet or lock your workbook, and then how you view. You can freeze panels here, pans here, and all of that. Now, I have a question. What's the difference between sheet and workbook? Are we together? Please let's listen. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Good. Are we together? Let's not do side talks. All right. So if you look at the screen, you can see how evidently it's written here. Sheets, right?
Yes.
Wow. You can see that it's written sheets, right? Just down here. Sheet one, sheet two. I just created another one, right? Good. That's simply what that is sheet. Now, these are two sheets in one workbook. That is, this full file is a workbook. Do you understand? This full file is a workbook. So if I save this now as data analytics class, that's the workbook. When I open that workbook, I'll see the number of sheets in the workbook. Are we together? Are we together? Good. So that nobody uses sheets and all of that to confuse you. All right, so now let's go into the cells themselves now. Let's begin to work. Okay, so
Sorry,
when you look at these cells, yes.
I want to ask a question. In connecting
Okay.
to a database and then getting data sets that you want to analyze, can you please show me if I want to do that?
I won't be able to walk you through the steps, but that's under data,
It's
right? Yeah, you'll be able to. This is existing. If you have created a connection with the database, this is where you get that connections. You can create that and add and all of that from here. Then this is if you want to extract from the web, you now type the website here and all of that and extract it. So that's a different process. Yeah, but this is where you get it connection, existing connections. You can check it out and then extract certain things you want. All right.
Okay.
Back to everyone now. The very important thing that I believe some of us know, but let's move on. A cell, the name of a cell is a combination of what and what?
Column.
What? No. It's based on what?
Rows and column.
By default, we keep saying rows and columns, right? But when you name it, what does it come after? How does it come? What? Someone say something. What did you say? Excellent. No, not what I was looking for. So I'm simply saying it's column and rows, not rows and column. Are we together?
Okay.
Like this is what? This is cell what? This cell what? 1 guinea. This is cell what?
One
A1. That's what I'm saying. The letters represent columns and numbers represent. Wow. Please be active with me. Letters represent columns, numbers represent rows. Good. So when you go to a particular, in fact, there's already cheat sheets here because by the time you click on the cell, it appears where? Here. People of God. It appears where? Here. So this is what? I-12. Are we together? Because in fact, from now, I'm going to be using that to talk to you. Yes, I'm not doing too much. I'm going to be using that to talk to you guys. So are we together? Row, column, rows, right? So you have what? A1, B1, C1, things like that. Are we together? So let's start work. Everybody on your Excel sheets, on your Excel, the Lord be with you. You will catch up. He has been here, so he should be able to help you out. All right, so we know how to highlight, right? Hello, we know how to highlight. For those who may be confused, highlight is simply you click, you move, right? This is highlighting. Are you good? Eh? Are you good? Eh, well, please, this is highlighting to click and just drag. All right? What other ways can you highlight? Control. Someone said Control A. Control A does what? Highlights all. All right? Control A highlights all. But if you want to highlight from a particular point to a particular point as well, you can do what? Shift and arrow key. If you hold on to Shift and you click the arrow key, it moves per cell. Can we try that for those who have never tried that before? All right, so now let's begin. At this point, I stand up. I need an assistant. Who volunteers? I need an assistant. I said I don't scared though. Yeah, come forward. Sit on the high table. That's my assistant. You did not know. All right, so cell A1. Type in capital letter S/N quickly. And assistant run away. Hey, carry your book now. Come on, sit down. Yes. S/N, right? That's serial number. N, serial number. That's what it stands for. All right. B1, name. B1, name. C1, class. Should we do class? No, B1, name. C1, department. I need another volunteer of assistant. My original volunteer has run away. Who else? Please come. Come forward. Do you want to volunteer? You just came. It doesn't matter now. Come forward. Then, so exactly what I said, just be doing it on the system. So, A1, S/N, a serial number. B1 was what? Name. Good. Then C1. Good. What's next? D1. Salary. What is the class in department? Let's do salary. Hmm? No. Just type it. Don't worry. The way it went out, do that. Department. Good. All right. How many of you did this happen for? The department was being a bad guy and entering the next guys. Good. Very simple. What we're going to do is, how do you expand that cell? You do what? Wrap Guinea? No. That's not expanding. That's letting it fit into the cell. You understand? Good. So wrap text, what will you do? Just the borderline between C and D at the top. At the top. Go to yes. Until your cursor becomes, use the mouse. So click on this. Wait. Are we together? Look up. Oh. Guys, click on C. You come here. Naturally, what you do is you click here. Take note, this changed to a cross, right? You click and you drag. Isn't that so? Good. Don't do this again. At least for now, in this kind of data set. This is what we all know, right? There's a point where you will need to do this. That is, you want to determine the size by yourself. Okay? Are we together? Good. But when you want to determine the size based on the content, strictly based on the content, all you do is what? You take it here, double click there. And so what that does, I'll explain. But do that, everyone. All you need to do is take your cursor there and double click. In between, that line between C and D. Yeah. Have we all done that? Good. Now let me explain what this is doing. Are we together? All right. So what this is doing, it may not look like much right now, but the aim there is it's going to expand that column based on the longest cell in that column. The cell with the longest text in the column. So what are we trying to say? When you're working with large data cell, the longest cell may be row 120. You don't know, right? But you just expanded it based on row 2 that looks long. But row 2 is not the longest. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So because of that, you simply do what? You just double tap. And by itself, it looks what's the longest cell here. We expand to that one. So most times, when you're working with a large data set and you double tap like that, and you see that it expands so far, when you scroll down, you see a very long cell. Do you get? Sometimes that long cell might be values you don't need. It might be errors. But you get to see that by doing that. And there's so many other things. But that's the way to expand it based on everything. But if you just want to expand it by yourself, that's your business. You can move it yourself. But if you want to, based on the values in that column, just double tap. Are we fine? All right. You are looking lost. Where are we lost? All right. So this is what we'll do so that people will not be lost. So move it back in. Move it back in a bit. Yes. So everyone do this. Yeah, push it back yourself. Click and move it. No, in. Yeah, that's fine. Now for everybody, go to, just type in row 10. So C10, type something longer than department. In C10, type something longer than department. Are we together? Okay. C10, longer than department, right? Now go there and do that double tap again and see where it expands to. You can type anything ahead, whatever, longer, just keep typing. Type more, but even ahead, that's fine. Now go there and expand and double tap. Go to C, yeah, click on the C. No, click on C first to select the column, good, then double tap now. Did you see what happened? Now, do you understand what I'm trying to say? Good. So it's not going to expand based on department. It's expanding based on the longest value in that column. That's what's going to happen. So if you don't know how to do it this way, you might find yourself expanding as you're scrolling down. When you now see that there are more values that are longer than the one you thought you saw. Good. So to just do it thoroughly, just do what? Double click and you're fine. All right, so let's go back to D. D is what? D1 is what? Salary. Now let's go. Salary. For those who have not written it, write it there. Salary. Yeah, double tap. All right. Salary. All right. So 1 minute. You need me to come there. That's a long distance. All right. Have we written the salary? Eh? Now from A1 to highlight A1 to D1. Have I highlighted A1 to D1? All right, now give it a color. I want you to design it to your best. Increase the font size, give it a color, make it bold. Make sure it's not your license key that's the problem. It might be your license key. How long have you used it? Ah, I mean, the other option is to restart. Restart, try again. If it doesn't work, then it's an issue there. Just no, it's the same. Just, sorry. How does your banjo keyboard? What's going on here? Huh? What's going on? Why doesn't it highlight and drag? It's supposed to click and drag. That's how it's supposed to be. So I don't know about what's going on. Yeah. Oh, forgotten. Switch off system. All right, so yeah, so start editing. All right, so firstly, I said what? Color, right? Change the color. I don't want white background. Do a different color, your choice of color. Then, if you choose a lighter background, what happens? What should you do? If you choose a dark background, what should you have on text? A light text, right? Good. So I don't want to see people with dark blue and then black is still on the dark blue competing. Let's not do that. So the color, if it's blue, it can be light blue and the black can still be there. But you can also change the text to what? White. Yeah, background. That's text. Yeah, you can change. Do we all know where we are changing them though? The bucket like that looks like it's falling is for what? Bucket looking like it's falling is what? is background, right? Then the one that has the A is for text. Good. All right, so when we are done with that, I want us to also do what? Create a thick border. You realize that when you do the color, you don't see the borders again. Am I wrong? All right, when you do colors, you don't see the borders again. Now give it borders. Where do you go to do borders? Border is in between the bucket and on the line. Bucket, the border is in between what? The bucket and on the line. That's border. That's where you select to choose borders. Please sit with someone with system. That's the only way you will not suffocate. You can join them. Join someone, that's the best. Join them. Join them, because that's not conducive for you. You can join them at the edge, you can join them there. That's better than. Have you done the borders? Yeah, that's borders. You do all borders. Make sure you are doing all borders. Everybody, all borders. All borders. How are we doing? I was going to fight you for your color choice. But carry on. Background. Yeah. No, you've not highlighted it, so you have chosen another background. Double tap and drag. It's going to join that place, so you don't need to. You can also just, if your double tap is giving you too much stress, you can also just do that, and you can also just do this. Wait, a lot of these are not working. I'm busy my eye. You're supposed to be able to do shift and arrow. Your system is miraculous. Are we fine? Between. And so all borders will give you 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the rest is either left or right, all of that. Yeah. So based on what we've done so far, just don't allow me to do anything else. Select here. That's fine. All right. Are we good? My newfound, my PA, sit down beside me. There's some things I want to do. All right. So let's look up, please. Can we look up? Can we all look up? The moment I said, let's look up, that's when some people realize that they can be serious. It's fine. First of all, children of God, thank you. My PA decided to be a very bright colored person. La, la, la. Okay, so there are a few things I want us to be able to run through today. I have a few minutes. Okay, so let's test out something. There's something I just did on someone's system. I remember that that's one thing I wanted to show you. How many of us know the difference between copy paste and format painter? Sorry, online, can you hear me? I was hearing I can't hear anything. Yes, you can abbreviate the department. Okay, that's fine. Let me continue. Do we know the difference between copy paste and then format painter? Do we? Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay,
No,
so let's say,
we do.
all right, good. So we say, let's do, all right, let's do, no, let me not do that. All right, so copy and paste is what? Please, let's look up. Let's look up, please. So copy and paste is me saying, I copy here, right? Are we together? And I do what? And I paste. And now, even here, you see that there are different types of paste, right? There's paste value, there's ordinary paste generally, then there's paste formulas. You learn that when you begin to use formulas on your own. But now you have what? Paste value, right? It simply does what we all know, copy and paste. But now, I'll explain Format Painter before you see it in action. Format Painter is simply, it does not copy text. It copies format. So when we say format, what are we talking about? Font size, font style, font colors, background colors. So what do we mean? That is, in this case, if I click here, see Format Painter option up here. I click on Format Painter, then I come to click on Ken. Voila. Ken has what? All the formats of salary. Wait, oh, wow. People are looking at this as magic happened. Did you guys see what happened? Don't worry, that's why Ken is plenty. If you click on salary, look up, you click on salary, right? Based on design you've done, just write a text separately. Now go up here and click on Format Painter. Once you've done that, it will highlight. You see that on your cursor, can you see this brush by my cursor? That means I've selected. If I don't see that, I've not selected the Format Painter. Now I just click on Ken. It has copied the format that this design, in fact, let me not say format, the design that I did on salary, right? It has taken it towards Ken. Do you understand now? How much?
Yes.
Good. All right. So people online understand. So it's simply anyone I select, right? Format Painter. I click on this, it goes. So let me give you a brief on most of the reason that this started initially. It's also in Microsoft Word, right? So imagine you're writing a book. I don't know if you've written like a long report or a long text where you have subheadings and headings, right? Please let's listen. Are we together? Please look up. It's not when I'm explaining, you're looking at your system. If you've written long documents in Microsoft Word, right, where you have headings and subheadings, right? And you were feeling so nice and you were designing the head or one of the subheadings, right? And then you did so many things. What used to happen in the past is you now come to your second subheading, okay? And then also do another miraculous design. And it may not look exactly like the one you did before. Do you get? And rather than doing that, what with Format Painter, just write your documents. The first one you design, highlight it, click on Format Painter, highlight the second subheading. The exact format in which the size and all of that that you use for the initial one you design is what will replicate on that one. Do you understand the concept? That's why it was created. So, like somebody had an issue where he had designed, he had put here as okay, no mistake, as this color, right? And he had done other things. So him saying Control Z to undo would disrupt the other things he has done. Okay. In this case, all we simply did was click on an empty cell, right? Click on Format Painter and click on the color, and it's back. Magic to some people's eyes again. I will repeat it. I will repeat it. Don't worry. Hmm. So whatever color this is, right? So I'm trying to make you understand that it's not just in a case of text. You just understand what it does. You might be in a situation where you just want to clear out some fonts, some colors. See why, are we together, please? The reason why I prefer to use the Format Painter in this case is why. If I click here and say, I want this to be, okay, let me use 2, then you understand it better. If I click here and say no, instead of just doing Format Painter, let me just take it white, right? When I do it white, what happens? Sorry. When I make it white, what happens? What do you notice? Huh? Anyway, what happens? The No, and that one has gone. But what else? What happens? Why am I not using this as my best option? It's just a word. Like
It's
there's a
writing together.
eh, excuse me. Yeah, it's the same. But there's something else that if people have to do for this. The borders are missing. Do you understand? That's what will be missing if I choose to do this method. Good. But if I click that, I said every format is copied. But if I click here and did that and highlighted this, it gives exactly, you can see it's back. So it's exactly what is there. That's why this is a better option. These are small skills. These are tiny skills that make you stand out from another person. I'm telling you, because most of them will have to either copy what they need into a new sheet because they don't know how to just do that to eliminate what they've done. I'm very serious. Do you understand? So that's how you can use what? The format painter. So let each person try it. Try it for the next few seconds, and then we continue what we're doing. My PA are coming back. So test the format painter, do exactly what we did, and let's see. It didn't come off still. And it came with the system. Sometimes it doesn't work. What comes with the system doesn't work sometimes. You might have to delete and reinstall a new one. But all in all, you can just download WPS. Now it's not heavy, maybe 160 something MB. Download WPS. Okay, so have we tested it? Has it worked? Have we all been able to perform the magic? All right, so let's move. Next thing we're going to do. A2, type 1. In cell A2, type 1. Are we together? Cell A2, type 1. Cell A2, type 1. Like I said, that's what I'm going to use and teach you guys. Cell A2, type 1. If you are lost, the Lord is your spinal cord. Cell A2, God forbid that is your spinal cord. Cell A2, type 1. Now, if you type in 1, click on a separate cell outside. There is no more. Yes, good. Now, in the past, for those who didn't know, you possibly, if you're going to type in a lot of numbers, what will you do? What do? You type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. That's a waste of a lot of energy. Right, so what do we do? Notice, look at your cell.
Type 1.
There's something that stands out, but look at it deeply. What is it? There's a small dot like, right? At the bottom right. When you take your cursor to that dot, what happens? It turns black. A black cross. Are we there? Good. Now do that. Click back on the 1 and take your cursor there. Don't do anything. If you do extracurricular, it's your business. But don't do anything. Just take your cursor there. Let it be black. Is it black now? Good. Now click and drag down to row 6. What do you have? 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Good. At that bottom, you see a box. Click on it and click on Fill Series. Fill Series. Click on that box that is blue dots. Click on what? Fill Series. What has happened? What has happened? It is now what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are we together? Miracle. No desire. What's going on here? All right, so we've done that, right? Now let's delete it and have just 1. Delete 2 to 5 and have 1. Now, by some systems by default, it's copy cell rather than fill series. But if you don't have the strength to do that later on, all you need to do is when you click on the black on that spot, go back there, click on it, hold the control key. When you hold the control key, you should see an extra plus on that dark spot. Do that. Let's see. Do you see it? There's an extra plus. There's an extra plus on it. There's a plus on it. Hold, when you get to that spot where your cursor goes black, hold control. Click on that spot. Do you see the plus sign? Yes. Good. Now click and drag.
I just feel like I did my.
Yes, what you did before, but this time it will automatically add it in fill series rather than copying cell. Another thing, I will advise you guys to try and use. Sorry, I'm coming. I would advise you guys to probably use a mouse in the classes. Like, it works on my system. I'm coming. For those who didn't work, when you click on, what did I say? When you get to that same spot, hold the control. So you're meant to, sorry. So when you hold, that's the plus sign.
I don't want the book. I remember my friend more than you.
No, your system is miraculous. Can't do anything. I don't even have to start to help you. But let me see if there's a mouse. I think you getting a mouse is very important for your system to help. Yeah? You don't need it, right? If yours working fine. Yeah, try this. Try and see. Let's see. All right, did we all do that? Hello, did we all do that? Good. So this is what? Next time that they told you, hello, next time that they told you are feeling 1 to 100, do not do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All you do is what? Control, click, drag down to 100. Are we fine? That as simple as that. Okay, now, one of the major things we're going to learn today that's also going to look like miracle to people is we want to fill in names. You are not with me. Are we together? We're not. Miraculous children of God. Can we look up? Hello. Blessing. Bless. Yes. To where? There's a way you can. It's just under alignment. You can align it to the left. Right. So, but now the thing is, by default, it aligns to the right. It aligns to the right. The reason it's on the left when you are typing is that it's assuming you want to type things. So for you to see what you're typing, it obviously will move to the left for you to give room for things. So when you're now done, you see that there's space. Let's go back. Yeah. For you to see what you're doing. Then when you're done, if you whatever design, you can make everything go to the center. I like what she has said. Highlight your 1 to 5. Highlight it 1 to 5 and center it. And how do you center it? Good. This is a good PA. No, that is top bottom alignment. The one below, yes, that one. No. That's aligning to the left. The one beside, good. Align center. All right, so now let's do what we really wanted to make sure we cover today. Now, you're looking at, are we together, please? I want to tell you the reason why we're doing what we're doing before we do it. We're about to do custom lists. Good. Custom list simply means you have saved list of names or whatever. Now, the reason you're doing that is there are things you consistently use. For example, you're in HR, you already know the number of employees, right? You constantly are making tables that involves their names. It is a demonic task for you to keep typing that in every time you have to use it. I don't know if you understand. If you have 100 employees, you have to be looking at their names, or you have to copy paste. Do you get? The custom list is going to help you. How do we do that? Everyone click on File tab at the top. What's beside the home? Are we there? Good. Options. Click on options. Have we done that? Are you sure? Okay. I'm hearing no. Click on advanced. There's option. Okay. No, click on more. And options. Advanced, scroll down to the very, just get to the very end. Scroll down till you get to general. You're already there, don't worry, just stay. So I said options. Have you done options? Click on file. From file, click on options. For some systems, is more. Click on more first, then options. Have you done options? No more, no options. You click on options. Good. So you have the pop-up. On the pop-up, click on advanced. I didn't hear you. No more, no options. What do you have? That's an Apple system. But you're using Microsoft. Well, all right, so when we click on advanced, what do we now see? I said scroll down till you get to general. Are we there? On that general, click on edit custom list. Have we clicked on edit custom list? Have we clicked on edit custom list? Good. Now, for those who have probably worked with yourself a while, you know things like January, Jan, all of those things. Maybe when you click on it and you drag it down, you're happy, it miraculously comes out, right? It's not a miracle. By default, Excel puts it what in a custom list, and that's what you're about to do. So by yourself, whether your enemies or your best friends, write down 5 names under the list entries. So you can either just write comma or write enter and just keep writing underneath it any way you want it. You can write it this way or you can write it this way. But write 5 names or 10 if you are feeling generous. But 5 is fine for this class. Just do 5. You hear me? I'm coming. Sorry. Have we done the 5? When you're done typing the 5 names, I doubt. I doubt because it's file, but let's see these options now. They didn't give you. Let's see. Sorry. Wait, so you don't. What happened? This is your old system. Okay. And if you had that, you could just download WPS now. That installation is quite fast. All right. Good afternoon, sir. What are these names? What's Guani? Thank God. Hey God. All right, so that's fine. That's how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so you've done that. Click on add. You click on add. Have you all done that? Click on add. Hey, man of God, remember the first thing we type. Remember it. Thank you. All right, so click on OK. If you've done that, click on add, click on OK. Now go to the name. Type the first name or any name in your list that you remember. Type it. Just type it on what? B1, B2, sorry. Any name, whether the first or the second, just type it there. Have we done that? Now, the same way we did 1, drag it down to 5. The same way we did that 1, 2, 3, 4. Go there, but don't do control. Don't click on control. Just click there. Have you added it? Yeah. And you added it and did okay. Okay, and then that's fine. No. Type in any name. Do you see what happened? Do you understand? So anywhere in your Excel now, you can use that name, this list of names. So if you're working in a firm, it may not just be names, it may be products, maybe product names. But the fact that you're going to consistently use them, rather than always having to type them, just take your time one day, type it. And now another thing, are we together? Like I mentioned, it's not necessarily you type in the first name. Yes? So, did you type the ordinance? Send them out. What did you type first? Is that the full name of one of them?
Just one.
You typed Ken.
Yeah.
Ken is one of them. And let me confirm.
It's the first one of the two names.
No problem. So you have Ken, yeah, that's what I mentioned. I said, don't press control. Oh. All right, so one thing I mentioned, please, we should need to take note of. Are we together, please? I said it's not necessary rather that you click on the first name, that you type the first name. Any name in the bracket is going to wheel out. But now, if you had 5 names there, when you get to 6, what happens? It starts again from the first name that was on your drop down. Do you get? So that's what you just need to understand. So these are ways what to make work easy for everybody, right? Your bosses do not know this. I don't mean they don't know how to do this. I mean, they don't know that this is what you are doing. But all you know now is that you are delivering 30 minutes ahead of your colleague. Do you understand? You're delivering 30 minutes ahead of your colleague, and they're wondering what you did different. Simply a few functions that you're making use of. Are we fine? So let's arrange that, and let's have this table. Now, just design the table to be just that table. So that means from A1 to A6, let's have that design for this for the lower cell. That means do this. This number has a color, unique color. Then all of this have one color, but make the color light, a light background color.
Please, sir.
Yes, I'm listening. Online.
Yes, sir. I was distracted. I had an issue when I was trying to do the numbering, so I didn't get exactly how it was. I think I had network problem, and it's affecting me now in trying to do something with the names.
Wow. How do we go there? Okay, so
Just
basically,
4 minutes.
where
I'm
did
going
you
to pick it.
stop? All right, so
No,
basically in
how
the
you
number.
numbered it, how you dragged it down. What did you do to the cell, the A2 cell, before you dragged it down?
Wait a second. So yeah, we'll give you the background colors. So what I did, can you hear me? Is you can see what I'm doing on the side, right?
Yes, I hear you.
Good.
Yes.
So you can see this dot here, this thicker part of the
Yes.
border. Good. You just take your cursor there, hold on to Control
Yes.
key, click on it, and then drag it
Okay.
down. It will fill it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
All right. But when you are doing the ones for the letters, right? You don't need to
Yes.
hold the control. You just go to that same point and drag down.
Okay, as long as it's beside the numbers.
No. The number part is different. So for for
Okay.
this part, that means you didn't get to see when we did custom lists.
No, I did. I saw it.
Okay. When you've done the custom list, if you type in the first name or any of the names on the list, you go there and drag down.
And drag it down. Okay,
Yeah,
sir.
to
Thank you
also
very
fill
much.
it. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, because the class. Wow, we have just 2 more minutes before we end. All right, so design. Any questions so far? I'm just seeing you. So you never have rights to ask me questions. If I'm just seeing you, now right, this 2 minutes. Yes, let me hear the question and decide whether or whether. Yeah. You click on advanced by the left. You click on advanced there. Then you just scroll down to the very end, very close to the very end. You see general and then the custom list. All right. Wow, it went off. The lead trip. Anyways, do we understand? Are we good? Are we good? Because next class we're starting, we're going in. Huh? No, you're not in now. We'll go in a bit. These two basics of Excel, but we're going in. So please, let's, are we together, please? One house. So let's do our best to be punctual. Punctuality is important. Let's be as punctual as possible. If you have difficulties with your Excel, and you've tried installing and so many other things, that's difficult. I advise you can also still do, you can download WPS. It's a stressless, whatever. But if you can handle, if you can still do the Microsoft Excel Office, do that. But if you have issues, WPS is sufficient. It's like they settle down and just photocopy it. Microsoft. All they did is they just design their icons, that's all. All right, so with that, I tell you all good night. Safe journey home. Something like that. I'm even about to enter the time of another person, so yeah, it's that o'clock. So do have a wonderful day, rest of the morning. I think this is your attendance. Those in yeah, this is it. So no, nobody has written. So just the attendance, write and pass round. And PA, thank you. All right. Okay, those online. Yeah. So whatever you missed on those online, you can what's happening? So don't worry. For those who missed a few things, just make the recording will be sent. You can review that and catch up whatever you missed. All right.